In today's video, we're taking a look at how to replace a ceiling bathroom exhaust fan, easy and simple. This is so easy, anyone could do. Everything that we use on the video, we're going to leave a link on the description. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe. That does help us out a lot. Thank you. So you woke up today and went to use the bathroom. You turned on the light, you turned on the fan, and went about your business. You've noticed you've been a few minutes in the battle, and it seems you decided to help the enemy to win this one. And you look up and notice the fan is not working. You also forgot your gas mask, so this is an auto goal for the enemy. They got this one. But don't worry, Grasshopper, we've got your back. A few blocks away, not in that room with you, but a back is a back. And today we're using the Delta Breeze Slim Series 70 CFM bathroom exhaust fan. Is a compact Energy Star rated option, ideal for small bathroom. It moves 70 CFM of air, which is cubic feet per minute, to efficiently pull out moisture, humidity, and odor. It's rated around 2 zones, and what this unit of measurement is, it measures how loud a fan is. So let's say 0.5 zones is almost silent, 1 zone is very quiet, 2 zones is moderate, and 3 to 4 zones is loud. And now that we filled your brain with bathroom fan technology, we're ready for the install. And because the last thing you want on a clear sunny day is to die, we want to go ahead and make sure that we turn off the breaker that gives power to the exhaust fan on that bathroom. And now we're ready to remove the old fan. We're going to go ahead and remove the cover. In this particular case is a screw on cover. In your particular case, it might be a pull down cover, usually with clips or springs. And remember, a pro tip, you can always verify with a non-contact voltage detector to verify that there's no electricity in the work area, because the last thing you want is the smell of barbecue on a non-barbecue day. Now that the cover is removed, we have access to the fan motor. We first disconnect the plug from the outlet. Now that the outlet is removed, we can go ahead and remove the fan motor. In this particular case, we have 2 screws, one on the left and one on the right. Always remember to use the ancient technique of lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. In your case, you might have more screws or in a different location. No matter the circumstance, the technique will be the same. In this particular case, we have access to the outlet housing from the inside with a screw. We go ahead and remove the screw. Then we proceed to remove the outlet from the home's wires. We would unscrew the electrical connector caps, and always remember the ancient technique passed down generation to generation of lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. If in your case the access to the wires is from the outside of the fan housing, you might have to wait until you remove the fan from the ceiling to do this part. And a pro tip, when removing the exhaust fan, it's good to have protective gear like eyeglasses and a mask, and in some cases even long clothing. You might have debris dropping from the attic as well as insulation. Now we're ready to remove the housing from the ceiling joist. This could be nailed or screwed down. In this particular case, we do have 2 nails, one on the left side and one on the right side. If in your case you have access to the screws from this point, you can go ahead and remove the screws. In our particular case, what we're going to do is pry the housing to one side so we can have access to use an oscillating tool with a metal cutting attachment so we can cut the nail away. In some cases, just creating some leverage from the joist with a flathead screwdriver or a small pry bar, you can loosen the screw or the nail enough to remove the fan housing. A pro tip, whenever pulling or cutting around the housing, you want to verify that there's no wires, pipes, or anything that can get damaged, because the last thing you want is to go from a small job to a big job. Have your spouse, partner, friend, or family member on the household giving you that look. And we 100% mean not of approval. But don't worry, Grasshopper, we believe in you. Now that we have our fan housing disconnected from the joist, we can go ahead and remove the clamp that holds the wires coming from the house to the fan's housing. In this particular case, we have a plastic one, and for this one, we're going to use a needle nose plier to squeeze the clamp from inside of the fan housing so we can loosen it and take it out through the hole. A pro tip, wearing gloves when handling the metal housing is the way to go. The metal sides are thin, and splashing new paint around the new fan is not what we want, Grasshopper. We know you got this. Be safe out there. Be safe. Now that the wires are not connected to the housing, we can go ahead and remove the fan housing from the ceiling. And to do that, we first have to remove the duct from the housing. In this particular case, it has aluminum vent tape that we can go ahead and remove in this regard. Now, we can go ahead and remove the remaining part of the clamp from the wire. And because we're no longer going to use this particular clamp, we're just going to cut it away. And remember, if you're using this particular method, you always want to make sure that you don't cut or nip any of the wires. And now you've done it. You broke your home. Yes, you did. No, you didn't. You know you did. And now we can start getting our new parts ready for the install. And we're going to start by removing the wiring box cover from the fan body. And we do this by removing the single screw that holds the cover in place. Always remember the ancient technique of lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. Once removed, we will have access to the 3 wires, the white wire, the black wire, and the green wire. Once you remove the cover, you're going to notice 2 notches in 2 different positions, and what we want to do is knock out one of the 2 hole covers out of this electrical cover. And you want to choose this according to the location of your wires and the fan housing. In this case, we're removing one of the side ones because the wires are on the side. If your wires are coming from the top, then you want to remove the top one. Next, what we want to install on the electrical cover is an electrical wire clamp. In this particular case, we're using a 3/8 of an inch clamp, which fits a standard 1/2 inch knockout. So that means the knockout on this particular system is 1/2 inch in size. We're basically going to remove the nut from the clamp, insert the clamp on the knockout, then insert the nut from the other side and tighten. A pro tip: when installing the clamp, you always want to make sure that the screws face down, so when you're inserting the wires and screwing, you have access to them and they're not pointing up to the ceiling. And to make sure that we have fully tightened it down, we like to use a lock nut wrench to do that. We'll leave links on the description of the video. But remember, Grasshopper, you can use any tool at your disposal. Once our clamp is installed on the electrical cover, we can go ahead and take it to our new formed bat cave. We insert our wire through the clamp and then we tighten. In this particular case, we just want the loose wires on the inside. And we say that because where we're going to tuck them in, there's not going to be enough space. So you don't want to have excess wires that won't fit inside the housing. And now that we're one step closer to victory, we can go back to our fan housing and remove the fan from the housing. And in this particular model, you're going to see 3 screws, and we go ahead and remove them. Always remember lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. Once the screws are removed and we finally remove the fan motor, we're going to notice that the fan is connected by a pressure style plug to the electrical connector. We're going to go ahead and remove that. You can use needle nose pliers. Always remember when removing not to remove it by the wire but by the plug housing. Once the fan is removed, we have an optional step. You can choose to attach the duct connector, in this case is a 3-inch duct connector, before the installation, or in our case what we like to do is install it after, but not on the housing but on the duct first and then on the housing. This would depend on how much extra duct you have coming out the ceiling to do this. In our particular case, our duct is 3 inches, so we don't need an adapter. If yours is 4 inches, you might need to have an adapter that goes from 3 inches to 4 inches, or to whatever size it's in your case. And remember, either if you're installing the duct connector on the housing or on the duct itself, you want to make sure that the vents flaps are down when installing them, because let's say if you install it upside down, the flaps are always going to be open, and they might be a case that when you turn on the fan they close. And that's a pro tip. Just like before, you don't want to auto score on yourself and have the enemy win again. We know you got this, Grasshopper. And now comes the fun part. This is the stress relieving part where we start making holes in our ceiling. In this particular case, case, our fan housing is bigger than the previous old one, so we would have to cut a little bit of sheetrock ceiling off to insert it. We're basically going to trace with a pencil our housing on our cutout, and these are our pro tips. We want to make sure that we measure from the joist out because we want to reuse this joist for the new installation. We want to make sure that when we install the new housing, the screw holes face towards the joist. Another thing that we like when installing new fans on old systems, we usually like to go bigger because this avoids having to get sheetrock and compound to fill in the holes. And lastly, we like to start off from the corner, so that means out of the 4 sides, we only have to cut 2. We could use that corner as a reference, but especially so we don't have to cut more than necessary. And in this case, we're using the same oscillating tool but with a drywall attachment. And if pro tips are not enough, what we like to use is also a vacuum when we do this. This avoids that look from the spouse, partner, friend, or family member on the household. We believe in you, Grasshopper. We love you. We know you're the best. Don't let no one say otherwise. And now that we measured twice, cut once, we're ready for the vent installation. If in your case, just like us, you decided to install the vent connector afterwards, then in this case, we're going to go ahead and install the vent connector to our duct, and using vent aluminum tape, we wrap it around the connection. And remember, the pro tip like before, you want to make sure that the vent flaps are down when installing. And now we're ready to wire it up. And for this case, instead of using the electrical caps, we're going to use waggle lever connectors. In this particular case, it's 2 ports connector, and we're basically going to connect each color to the same color. White with white, which is neutral here in the US, black with black, which is live, and green with green, which is ground. And what we like to do, and this is an optional step, we like to take electrical tape and do 1 wrap over the levers. This gives us peace of mind when pushing the wires in through the housing that the levers are not going to come up and the wires get loose, aka fireworks on a non-firework day. And now comes the funnest part of the whole job, making all those wires fit in the housing. And in the day of pro tips, another pro tip, having a Watson, aka helper, goes a long way. If you don't have a Watson, we salute you. We know you got this. When installing the cover back, you're going to notice a tab that inserts on the housing for alignment. Once all the wires are in and the cover inserted, we can go ahead and insert the screw. Always remember, lefty loosey, righty tighty. Once you feel it tight, that's good enough. You don't want to damage the threads. Now, what we go ahead and do is install our duct connector. Remember to make sure that the flaps are down when installing. If in your case, you have already connected the duct connector and you're installing the vent to the duct connector, then in that case, you just want to slide the duct over the duct connector and place the aluminum duct tape around the connection. And now comes the wiggling action. And no, not your body, but you can do both as well. Basically, what we want to do is make sure that the housing is flat with the ceiling. So you might need to move around the housing, tap it in a few corners, and get it into place. And the good thing about these types of fans, because we're not accessing the attic for installation, you're going to notice some screw holes right at the housing where we can place our screws to our joist. If in your case you want to do the installation from the attic, you're going to notice that in the housing of the fan there's 2 tabs with screw holes which you can screw on to the joist. These you would not have access unless you make a bigger hole on the sheetrock and then choose to close it up later if you don't want to choose installing it from the attic. And remember, you can always make your own hole on the housing with a drill bit to install an extra screw on the joist. And also you can use this technique in case the vent or the electrical doesn't match up on the side that the holes are located at with your joist. In this case, we placed another screw next to the outlet. You can't see it because of the camera angle, but as well, we're going to caulk all around the fan, and what this would do is seal any gaps between the housing and the ceiling, which prevents any any air leaks, keeps the moisture from getting into the ceiling, and improves how efficient the fan pulls air, as well as it gives it a clean, finished look. And now we're ready to install the fan motor. We're going to go ahead and take our push-in clip connector and push it in the connector outlet. And when doing this, you want to make sure that it is inserted all the way. And you'll also notice when connecting it, it only goes in one way because one side is flat and one side is like a triangle. If you notice you can't push them in with your beautiful Hulk hands, then you can push them in with some needle nose pliers or pliers. Just remember not to push it in from the wire but from the connector housing. Then we go ahead and push in the fan motor. We make sure that our exhaust is pointing to our vent duct and that all our screw holes are aligned. Once we feel it go all the way in, we're ready to install the screws. And always remember the ancient technique passed down generation to generation of lefty loosey, righty tighty. And just like before, once you feel it tight, that's good enough. Everything being plastic, you don't want to ruin the thread. Once the fan motor is installed, you're one step closer to victory. If in your case you have some ceiling patching to do or you need to caulk around the fan, it does come with a cardboard protective cover for this part of the job. But the last pro tip and the most important one, before you start patching up or caulking, you want to go ahead and turn on the breaker to the fan and then turn on the fan, because you don't want to start patching up and then notice that nothing's working. But we know you got this, grasshopper. And now that you know that your fan is working, we said it was going to be the last pro tip, but before you install the cover, make sure the fan is not spinning, aka safety. We go ahead and insert the cover, and we do that by squeezing the spring clips on the cover together. We insert them in the slots of the fan housing. You're gonna notice one on each side. Then we release so they lock into place. We gently push the cover up until it sits flush against the ceiling. And now you've done it. You can pat yourself on the back for a job well done. There's no bathroom exhaust fan you can't break and fix again. You become a black belt of your block. Don't forget, if you like the video, please give us a thumbs up. That really helps. If you have any questions, place them in the comment section below. Either someone on the StatUpBox team or someone on the YouTube community can help you out with an answer. Don't forget to subscribe, follow us on social media. Thank you for watching, and here's a link to our latest video.